What's happening, Reds? It's Jamie Webster here. Just wanted to say, subscribe below. Thank you very much.
Hiya and welcome to the Liverpool Connection podcast. This is a brand new show that we have now called PubChat, and it's from BD Riley's in Austin, Texas. So if you're travelling to Austin, come down the pub. As always, Steve will buy everyone a pint. He's money bags. But I am Dazza.
Presidente, come and say hi to us.
Julian. Wilson will also buy a fantastic plate of fish and chips, which we're starting to tuck in here, which actually are rather good, I have to say.
Well, we referenced this in our first show, how they're the number one rated fish and chips in all of Texas and the number one rated Irish pub in all of Texas. So we thank BD Riley's for hosting our show. They've been a great partner to the Supporters Club here in Austin. So when you do come across the pond, be confident that you're going to get a nice tray of fish and chips whenever you get over here. So.
A nice tray.
Plate, bowl, whatever you want.
And if you like celery, they've got loads of celery here.
They have the best celery.
They really do.
The way they chill these plates, it's awesome. I'm going to tell you that right now.
But,
and
you didn't
Carlsberg.
You didn't get carrots. Didn't you have carrots last week?
Yeah, but they were kind of crunchy.
The carrots were only supposed to be crunchy. Yeah. Crunchy carrots.
Country or crunchy?
Crunchy.
Maybe
crunchy.
Both. Maybe crunchy and crunchy.
Yeah.
Anyways, we're here to talk about Liverpool Football Club, and we're here today's episode to talk about the match against Fulham. It was a tough one to watch the first 55-60 minutes, even when Diaz hit the post in the first half. We just looked disjointed. If I was to do out of 10 for most of those players, it would be about a 4.5. Nobody seemed to string two passes together, and Fulham, fair play to them. They came out the blocks like, we're up from the Championship and we're going to show Liverpool what we got, and they did.
Do you guys think it was part overconfident from playing so well against City the week before, right? And then playing against a newly promoted team in Fulham? Do you think there was some of that in play? Or because to me,
not.
You'd think not, but to me, we looked kind of legged in that first half. I mean, we really were second to every ball, right? And like you said, we couldn't put two passes together. Salah hardly touched the ball in the first half, which really, I was just questioning, like, he's the best player. Why can't he get the ball, right?
Well, we weren't giving it to him.
That's right. I mean, we didn't. Our midfield was kind of missing in action that first half, I think.
Let's be honest. So I think there's a little bit, which isn't surprising with the world we live in. There is definitely an overreaction to that. Were we good in the first half? No. Were we terrible? No. We were okay. If you watch that first half, we were involved, as you say. Diaz hit the post. Salah, I thought, started really well in that half. But Fulham bullied us, and I think that was unexpected. You saw some hard tackles going in early on as well, and I think we were surprised by the intensity of Fulham, definitely. Second half, we were a lot better, but I will say that I thought Henderson was pretty good, right? I thought Bobby was pretty good first half, honestly. I thought he was fine. Second half, we were a lot better.
Let me ask
no doubt whatsoever.
Let me ask something, because, they were coming into tackles very hard that first half, right?
Yeah.
I think that's testing the referee as well, because I think he was letting that go, where I think a more seasoned referee would have more control of that, because they were really coming into tackles, going a little bit of afters on quite a bit of it. I don't think you're right. We weren't ready for that intensity that they were showing, and
but
we weren't adjusted to it.
Don't you think we should have expected them to be physical?
And that was the thing. And Klopp mentioned that, and he hardly ever. after a game, he hardly ever calls out the team's performance and says that was bad. And the intensity was definitely lacking, especially from the first half, right? But the overreaction of that, it was our worst first half performance, bullshit. I'm not having that, right? First game of the season, away from home. I thought the Man City last season away was far worse. I thought we looked scared in that game. That was one where I watched that first half thinking, we are.
It's the worst. It's the worst match I've seen this season.
But the title challenge is over. According to a lot of the melts on social media.
Yeah, we're not using that word.
Well, we're not using Darren Daz's favorite word from last episode.
No.
But
yeah, it's done.
I mean, the season's over.
It's
right?
over.
We're going to look back on this first game and say that cost us the title. And I'm not going to name names, but multiple people on social media said that.
Yeah, you're in my book.
Hey, a point away from home, first game of the season is not a bad result. It is not a bad result whatsoever. It's fine. It's fine.
I think with us though, the bar is set so high.
And that's why you have the overreaction.
We did expect. I think most Liverpool supporters expected an easy. I mean, I saw 3-0, 4-0, and in my head I'm going, nah, it's not going to be that easy. And obviously Fulham showed up.
And we said that last week when we did our predictions.
Yeah,
we were like 3-0, 3-1, we're going to win. And that's why football...
It's a funny game, isn't it?
It's a funny old game. Yeah. It's back. We've had the first weekend. There's already drama all over the place. Man United have already lost.
Woo-hoo.
Gets in. That's why I'm happy this weekend. No surprise there.
Well,
Alan scored already.
Well, I'm pissed because I'm already out of my Survivor League because I picked Liverpool. So there goes my 10 pounds. You're welcome.
But what I will say, just to finish up on that game, I thought Núñez was excellent when he came on. I thought he was fantastic, got involved. I think the link up between him and Salah is extremely promising as well. We saw a little bit of that in the pre-season, but it was good to see that in the first game of the season. I like that. I thought Elliott was very good when he came on as well. So there's a lot of positives from that. There really is.
Yeah, there's a lot of positives.
Milner's still doing the business.
He's got a great beard, Milner.
He does. That is a great beard.
Well, it's a great beard.
Almost as good as yours, but not quite.
No, it's way better than mine. Mine's an absolute
let's talk about
train wreck of a
the point of contention in that game. The main talking point is that penalty for you guys. Yes, no.
Yes.
It's a combination, right? So
soft.
It's definitely soft, right?
All right.
Number one, Virgil came in and he made a challenge that wasn't great, right? He left his leg hanging. That gave Mitrovic the opportunity. I mean, he dived. He did.
Yeah.
He used his experience. He scores a lot of goals. He scores a lot of penalties. And he kind of left his leg there and he got the pace. After watching it, it is a penalty. Virgil should have done better. A long time ago, that wouldn't have been a penalty, but it is. It has been for a while, so it's a penalty.
You know, even though Mitrovic, they were out of the Premier League, right? He was their top scorer last year. 43 goals.
Yeah, he got the record for
right.
The championship.
So I think a lesser player in that situation doesn't get that call. I think Mitrovic, he sold it. He sold it.
There you go. He sold it.
And Van Dijk gave him the referee the opportunity to call it. So
you can't have any qualms about that, because if that happened to Salah, we'd be like, that's a penalty.
Oh, and Salah's really good at it. Yeah, we've seen him many times. He's an expert at that.
That's what forwards do. They're touched to go down. Yeah. So, it is what it is. But we didn't lose. We got back into the game. But I mean, it did frustrate me, because before that penalty, we looked like we're going to score.
We looked like we were going to win it.
Yeah.
I mean, I seriously thought at a certain stage in our second half we were going to win it, and then of course Henderson hit the bar.
What a shot that was as well.
Oh, that was a beauty. That was effort. But really, the biggest thing to come out of the game is the thing that could potentially hurt us the most, and that's the Thiago injury. And it's always It's always something when a player's not really involved in another challenge, he pulls up, and then the moment he feels the back of his hamstring, you're worried. We don't know how long he's going to be out for, but early word is it's going to be a while. That's the biggest blow from the game. Not the performance, the Thiago injury.
But you mentioned at the beginning, or the intensity, right, of the match, and how that was really a talking point afterwards. Losing Thiago obviously does not help. But just going over some stats from FOTMob.
Americans love stats. Wilson, take it away.
Well, I'm trying to channel my inner Paul Tompkins. But so on duels, we lost. We only won 37% of our duels. They won 67% of their duels, right? Yeah. They won their aerial duels. They won more aerial duels than we did, which is fascinating because we have a taller team across the board, right? They completed more successful dribbles than we did, and we have quality people on the ball. So it just those stats, just those in itself, mostly coming from our midfield, just shows that we weren't up to the races at the very beginning of the game, right? Even though the XG that people like to talk about was higher than theirs, taking away their penalties, we're a goal and a half higher than theirs. So it just goes to show that you have to create your chances and take your chances, and not give the other team the chances, the soft penalty. Even their first goal was kind of lackadaisical on our part. Really.
It was a good cross.
Yep.
It was a fine header. Trent could have done better. I mean, it's tough. Mitrovic is going to score a lot of goals like that this season.
But as we talked about, though, Robbo could have probably cut that cross out, and then whoever was tracking the lad that ran past Trent, I think it might have been Fabinho, it caused Trent to take a double take. He took his eyes off the ball, and you can't take your eyes off the ball with a player like Mitrovic. I mean, it was a good goal. That's what he's on the pitch for. Can Trent defend? Of course he can.
Last week we talked about midfield, right? And that we didn't really need to sign anybody, but referencing Thiago being injured and possibly being out for 2 months or through the World Cup. Now, what's our perspective on having to go out there into the market and getting a midfielder? Do we think that we should just plug in Elliott and Carvalho, or should we be really looking at the market?
I'll let you go, Julian.
I'll just repeat, even before the Thiago injury, what I said last week, we do need an extra midfielder. I think that's pretty obvious. It's also pretty obvious that Klopp wanted a centre midfielder because we looked at them, but we couldn't get the ones we wanted, which makes complete sense. We always wait. We want the right player. There's no point getting in someone as a stopgap. But it's known we want a midfielder, and we need a midfielder. And it's not because we have the numbers. We have a lot of players, but unfortunately that position, which is a key position, we tend to pick up a lot of injuries. We're like one game into the season, Oxlade-Chamberlain is out, Keita is sick, Jones is out, Thiago is out. And that's already a big chunk of squad options, which is what we're going to need if we want to go again for cups and the title. Then you need them options. If Thiago is out for a while, we need a midfielder.
So let me ask you something, because obviously when you say, hey, we need a midfielder, there's different types, right? There's a defensive midfielder, number 6. There's a box-to-box, number 8. We got a attacking midfielder. So what do you think we are looking for? Klopp is looking for
creative.
A creative midfielder.
I think we need more options from midfield for goals. Mm-hmm. I think that's something that we do lack a little bit. If we're to pick straws between us and Manchester City, midfield is our biggest opportunity. Mm-hmm. Of course, our midfield does a different job. They're there to work, to graft, to support the front three. Keita is meant to be that one that breaks through the lines. He hasn't been good enough. He's shown fantastic flashes of this talent. But to me, creative midfielder is key, and I don't think it's fair to rely on Elliott and Carvalho for that role this season.
Even though they did look brilliant, especially Elliot.
Elliot was fantastic. Carvalho looked pretty good in a brief cameo, but Elliot looks very good. But if Thiago is out for a while, then I have no doubt we're going to look for a midfielder. And I would have thought we know who we would get anyway. These things take a while, and that wouldn't surprise me at all. But.
So,
Yes.
you think there's a possibility that they will look at Genie to come back?
No, because he's gone to Roma.
Okay,
So
just wanted to make sure.
Yeah.
I mean, he might come back for the visit, but no, he's at Roma. Where good lord, let's talk about their
That would be funny, though, wouldn't it? He signs for Roma.
Introductions.
Put it alone.
Oh, didn't he? He came out of the swimming pool, didn't
he?
he?
Yeah, Dembele, who came out to thousands of fans, and then Genie comes out the swimming pool.
When I saw Genie coming out of that pool, you know what it reminded me of? You ever see that movie Sirens?
Yeah, I know.
The body coming out of the lake, and she's like totally naked. That's what I was thinking.
That's what you were thinking Genie was going to be when you like lifted his head up. You were like, come on, keep going. And then disappointment because he's wearing a shirt and shorts.
I wasn't disappointed, but
you were a little bit because you were thinking about Sirens.
This is borderline on the sexy players thing again.
It is, right? Sexy player.
Have you seen Sirens?
A while ago. But the best announcement, was it Santi Cazorla? Santi Cazorla, when he comes out in the fog, and then he miraculously appeared in this glass box.
Oh yeah.
Was it Santi Cazorla? I think it was. That's the best one I've seen. So I actually like those. They're kind of hilarious.
He was the lad that was. He's bought for Barca. It could have been Coutinho, and he couldn't keep the uppies.
It wasn't Coutinho.
It wasn't Coutinho. I remember you talking about.
Terrible, wasn't it? I couldn't do fucking 2 keepy uppies.
Yeah. You're
It
out.
was Dembele couldn't do it when he got signed. I'm pretty sure it was Dembele that couldn't do
And
2 or 3 keepy
If you're watching
uppies.
on YouTube, tell us in the comments who this player was because we're not sure. So
I'm pretty sure it was Dembele.
And also, who's the sexiest player alive?
yeah. And if you're listening on Spotify, go to YouTube and then leave your answer in the comments.
Yeah. Back to do we need a midfielder? I said no, and I'll stick to that. I will. I'll stick to my guns.
Why?
Again, just because it's a short first part of the season up until November for the World Cup. I've said it before and I'll say it again. The World Cup might favour us to get these players back to being fit. And if Klopp believes in Elliot and Carvalho, why shouldn't we? You know, why shouldn't we? What I felt like, how did you feel when Fabinho went off and Hendo started to play more of the 6? Do you think he's better suited to that?
Henderson in the 6?
Yeah.
Not really. I think he's an option there. I think he's a great option there. I'm not sure he has the legs for a 6. Yeah, late on in a game, cool, stick him in there. But at the beginning of the game, I wouldn't have Henderson. I don't think Henderson has the legs to be a 6.
It's a good switch off between him and Fabinho.
Yeah, it is.
Fabinho needs a rest one day. You've got Hendo for backup, but it's, I mean, if we get another injury in the midfield, then of course, you know, you've got to look at the transfer market. But okay, let's say like yourself, who is that player? And we can't talk Bellingham because there's no chance. You know,
yeah, Bellingham. It looks like will not be coming now, right? It's more likely next summer, and I wouldn't be surprised if we have a deal in place already. And it's already done, and it might be January, it might be the summer, and that's why we're holding out as well, which is why we're not signing anyone, because we perhaps are getting Bellingham in January. But regardless of Bellingham, who is that player? I don't know. I'm not sure who's. Can't see one that stands out that is available. Of course, the club knows, and it will be someone that is a surprise, but it's someone that, you know, people will say, oh, I know this person, he's brilliant.
Well,
I've watched him on YouTube.
Mateus Nunes is prime example. I'd never heard of him until the rumours, and then you hear all these people, let's get him. I'm like, you've never heard of him?
I know.
You've never ever heard of him before, but
It's like the other Nunes, like Darwin Nunes. A year ago, no one knew really who he was unless you were a real hardcore, obsessive, over-the-top football fan. And then, of course, he played against us, did really well in the Champions League. And then he joins us, and then everyone watches the YouTube, and he's the greatest player ever. And he's been good for us so far, but it's a long way to go yet.
He's been excellent. But here's what we've learned in the past couple weeks. FSG doesn't show their hand, do they? They knew Mane wanted to leave a year ago. None of us knew that. All we were questioning was why hasn't Salah signed?
They've done very well with that, with signings and keeping it under the table.
Now to come to the news that Mane told them a year ago, and they prepared that. And like you said prior to the show, that's why they accelerated Diaz coming in January, who is going to be Mane's replacement in the summer.
You don't pay that money.
I mean, they're just running the club close to the vest, and we're just all guessing here, which we do a lot.
So, moving on from that, we have another game coming up. So everyone will probably move past the drama.
It's like 6 months from now.
And the chaos of this weekend. We play Monday.
Yeah.
Next Monday, we play Crystal Palace. First game at Anfield. I'll put it to you. So Nunes, as we were talking about him, do we think he's going to start this game?
I don't. I think he's going to stick with Bobby. My gut tells me he's sticking with Bobby for a few matches.
I agree with Daz. I think he'll stick with Bobby. Nunes being the X factor off the bench right now for a couple more games, and then he'll take over. Because you remember Klopp coming out and say, Bobby's never been this fit, and so I think he's going to give them an opportunity to start. And I think he does like the game changers off the bench, Nunez, Carvalho, Elliott coming off the bench and being able to be dynamic and really changing the tempo like they did against Fulham. They really, as soon as they came in, the whole game changed, right? And so I think Klopp likes that dynamic coming off the bench and being able, especially with 5 subs, you're able to do that. So
I'll go against you two.
That's fine.
All right. We'll change it up so it's interesting.
Put him up.
I think Monday night, under the lights, home game, Crystal Palace, second game of the season. I think he'll start. And Nunes scored at the weekend. He got an assist, kinda. Officially it's an assist, but it kind of came. I think he'll start Nunes. I think it's the perfect opportunity to give him a run and. He'll get the fans up as well immediately. Not that Firmino won't. We know he will. But you start Nunes, it's going to give an extra lift as well.
Hey, that's a pretty quality first Premier League goal, though, he scored, didn't it?
That's a beautiful goal, that was. Yeah. And he had to react to it as well because he got a little deflection.
What's that?
Took him 2 times to do it.
Well, I mean, the keeper made a good save on the first one.
He did, but he did well. But
no, he's quality. He's absolutely quality. I just can't wait to see more of him. He's going to bag. I reckon, we talked about the goals. He's definitely going to get at least 15 league goals.
Defo.
Which with the Cups and Champions League as well, he could go 25. What do you think?
Ooh, that's bold, mate. Maybe.
No, well, I mean...
Well, you know what's going to determine that? Who takes penalties, him or Salah?
Well, we all know who's going to be taking those penalties is Salah.
And Darwin won't get 25. But if they mix it up a little bit, I mean, we'll see.
Yeah, I just can't wait. But yeah, the Palace game's going to be good. I mean, Vieira's going to have them set up to probably stifle us. But I just think we have too much talent to not beat Palace at home.
I think so. Yeah,
I mean, the crowd's going to be up for it. After what happened against Fulham, the team's going to be up for it. We all know Klopp gave them a rollicking after that game. He gave it to him at half-time, obviously, because when we came out, we did play better. But after, full-time, I think he just said on the coach back, let's not do that.
I think we
again.
know it.
That's it.
Because like we said earlier, is he came out in the interview and he was pretty hard on the team. He doesn't normally do that. He normally is very, very protective of the team. And the fact he came out and was
said it
pretty...
in the media.
Well, he did blame the grass.
Well, yeah, he likes to maybe. I think that's a bit of German humour. I'm sure he gets home at night. He's like, he gets what I said.
Well, for us that lived in Germany and can speak German,
that a German accent or was that Dutch?
No, I'm trying to like channel Glenn, who's not here tonight, and trying to do the accent. You know, I am from Germany.
but I'm going to let you know.
It was the pitch. It was dry.
Having lived in Germany and speaking German, that the sarcasm game in Germany is still
they're
developing.
They are.
Because you have to wait till the last word of the sentence to know what they're talking about.
He was obviously being sarcastic.
He has to. He wasn't being serious.
No chance.
The pitch was dry.
Well,
I can make a few jokes about that, but I won't. But yes.
Hey, all I know is that my pint was dry because I was not here at the pub for the game. And for those that aren't able to watch the match with other supporters, it's different, man. You miss it, right?
Well, yeah, because I was home with 4 kids who didn't give a crap who scored, who won.
Right.
And you know, there's me screaming, like, just at the top of me lungs. Like, you know, they'll get it one day. They'll understand why Daddy says nasty words.
Yeah, but you know, it goes back to the fact that, you know, everybody's like, the season's over. I'm like, the first game of the season, and it's not all about wins and losses, man.
But
it's about the journey, isn't it? Isn't it about the camaraderie, or is it just about wins and losses?
No, it's about the journey as long as you win at the end of it.
Yeah.
But we just started it.
I don't know.
Isn't it sad?
Hence the overreaction of a freaking 1-1 away from home first game of the season. It's all right.
After, you know, the match, I think we all knew as soon as that final whistle, overreaction. Bam,
yeah, people love it. They live for that. They live for
wind up
complaining.
merchants. There he is. You know, they wind me up. Wind used to up as well. But, you know, it's just... You take it with a grain of salt and just go, I know this football team and they're better than that and they'll play better than that the next game and the next game after that.
It wasn't that bad. We'll smash Palace and
then we've got United, which 2 Mondays in a row.
Yeah, what's that?
And then we have Newcastle on a Wednesday. It's mental. But I know you've got something down there he wanted to.
I do.
Actually. He wanted to plug.
And it's the title of the book is perfect after what we saw at the game at the weekend. So you know, bad timing maybe, but anyway.
I got this book this week from Pep Linders. Obviously, most Liverpool fans will know that this book came out. And it covers last season. He started writing it the very first moment in preseason. And it's a great book. I think a lot of us are expecting him to become the manager after Klopp leaves. Some are in the Gerrard camp, obviously. So either way, I think it's going to be great. But this book is full of insights on the mentality of what goes on during the daily interactions with the players, the tactics. And I'm still reading it. I'm only halfway through. But
you got your crayons.
No.
Should we do a giveaway once you've finished reading it, maybe? We could have you sign it, right, as well.
I don't know if they want my signature.
Oh, you never know. They might. The Presidente.
You know what we'll do?
Pep's not going to sign it. We know that already.
For this episode,
you might.
How about what we do is, on this episode, all our viewers, till the Crystal Palace match, we'll vote on the best comments on YouTube, and I'll send them this book. How's that? Is that good?
I like
just the cover, not the actual book.
Yeah, you just get the cover.
and if you live in Australia, I don't know if you'll actually get it. But no, that's great because it's your book. You give it away.
So you say the best comments. So should we have something in the comments where it will be based on the result against Palace, where you pick the score, right? And you pick the goal scorers? And then for a tiebreaker, you pick the minute of the first goal of the game.
Well, I was just going to pick the most interesting comment, but if you want to actually make it
how do you have the rules for interesting, though?
Because I have a sense of humor, and I know what's funny.
You're American.
If somebody
they
gets
don't tell everybody. They won't watch the show if you tell them.
Shouldn't this be a vote, though? So if somebody says El Presidente is boss, do they win it?
Yeah.
No, because there's going to be like 10 or 20 people will say that, and I'll have to pick which one.
So we'll do. Okay, we'll leave the stupid score stuff. We'll do that. best comment, most interesting comment, and then we'll vote upon who our favourite one is.
It's funny right now because we're just watching the highlights of Brighton beat United on the screen. I love it.
I'm watching my pints sitting on that bar over there.
Yeah, just get on.
You know what? What I'll do, I will go and get the pints while you watch Man United lose, okay? And I'll come back.
Live. They're lost.
Yeah, I'll get
He's actually going to get live pints.
live pints.
Yeah, the best YouTube comment on our episode.
I will send the book to him.
He will send that book to you. It doesn't matter if you live in Alaska, Australia, Timbuktu, or...
What did you get?
I got a Carlsberg, sir. Thank you, BD Riley.
Please, yeah.
So that's the contest, but whether you enter the contest or not, go get the book. Support Pep Linders. It's a great book. It's written by him, and it's an official Liverpool book, and sponsored by the club. So you're supporting the club as well. So
Yeah, and that's nice of you, Steve.
You're very welcome
to give your book away. Because if
That's so kind.
Yeah, it is. Because if we had it, it stayed in my collection.
I may give the extra one that I bought accidentally because I clicked on it twice and they sent me two. How much of this book have you read so far? 25%.
25% of the book. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Well, how are you feeling so far with this book experience?
I love Pep.
He looks relaxed.
Yeah, you look relaxed.
Well, I love the fact that he speaks other languages as well, right? Portuguese, Spanish. So he really can relate to the players that we bought. He speaks Dutch. We've seen him speak Dutch in interviews before. So I love the guy, man. I think his brain is working. Klopp obviously respects him. And I just look forward to the future with those two. And whatever happens after Klopp leaves, then that's what happens.
Which we won't even think about. So Palace. So what do we think? What do we think?
A win. Yeah, nothing but a win.
Win.
We had difficulties with Palace last season, both times, right? And Vieira sets his team up. They didn't look good this last weekend, I thought. They kept it competitive, but I didn't. Okay.
They look like Palace, right?
They have athletes on that team, though. They really do have athletes.
This first weekend of games, there's been very few surprises. Manchester United are still a mess, right? Arsenal look a little bit better than last season, but look like they lack a central midfield. Crystal Palace will stay up. They won't get in the top four. They won't get Europa League, right? And they rely on Zaha, but they'll be probably middle to below that in the table. Haaland's going to score a lot of goals. Is he going to do it consistently against top sides? Who knows? But I think, I think we'll defeat Palace. I think it'll be pretty comfortable as well, honestly. I think we'll have a really good performance because Klopp will demand it.
It's a strange thing to have 9 days between games right here this early in the season. So I think it is brilliant, but I think it's really Klopp was going to. Obviously, the Aston Villa game, the friendly got canceled today.
By Gerrard as well.
Yeah. So they will take that.
He's the one that cancelled it. He said he didn't need it anymore. Well, Klopp's like, yeah, we need it.
But I think that gives them 9 more days of preseason
and also 9 more days. So, which is good because this episode will be out, and then our other episode on our storytelling one with Stephen Dunn and Neville Gabby is out. Yeah. So please go check that out on Spotify, Google.
That was a bit American. That's Spotify.
That's a very American name, isn't it? Spotify.
It's Spotify.
I like Spotify.
Spotify. Apple.
But yeah, I mean,
YouTube.
Coming to a close, I guess. We've had a pretty good pub chat.
Anytime we could talk footy and drink a pint
and eat
fish and chips.
Yeah, we need to wrap this up because I really want to finish these fish and chips.
All right, cheers.
Cheers, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks for supporting our endeavor here, guys. See you next time.
Nice one.